What is up, my veggies? My name is VTR, and welcome back to another movie review. And today, we're going to be reviewing Halloween Ends. And no, I'm not wearing this thing for the whole video. And black out my eyes. Okay, sorry. I wasn't going to wear that for the whole video. It kind of messed my hair up trying to take it off. But yes, today we're finally reviewing the final Halloween movie in this Blumhouse trilogy, Halloween Ends. Before we get into talking a synopsis or anything like that, this movie I have been extremely excited for. And it has been my most anticipated movies of this year. And getting to see it on the big screen and everything. So, yeah, getting to have seen 3 movies in this franchise on the big screen was a really big deal to me, because Halloween is one of my favorite franchises. Literally last year we covered all of the movies. We covered all the way from Halloween 2 to Halloween Kills. Obviously, the same year 2018 came out, I reviewed the first one. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about this newest movie. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you a synopsis, but we're going off the synopsis that's on Rotten Tomatoes. So, I don't know exactly what the synopsis is going to say, so I don't know. So, let's go ahead and... This is Laurie Strode's last stand. After 45 years, the most acclaimed, revered... I don't know if I said that right... horror franchise in film history reaches its epic, terrifying conclusion as Laurie Strode faces it off for the last time against the embodiment of evil, Michael Myers, in a final confrontation unlike any captured on screen before. Only one of them will survive. So, with that being said, I'm not going to go into spoilers at first. I think this is going to be a pretty big review, actually, compared to how my reviews normally go. Because I have a lot to say, and there's stuff I want to talk spoilers on. But we're gonna. I don't like doing. I've said this multiple times. I don't like doing 2 separate videos for reviews on spoilers and non-spoilers. I either don't do spoilers, straight up do spoilers, or do both. Kind of split the video half down the middle. So that's what we're gonna do, like we do always. So today we're gonna start with the non-spoilers. So then I'll let you guys know before we get to the spoilers, so you can click off the video if you haven't seen the movie yet. So before I actually start talking about the movie, so this movie's been on my mind a lot since I saw it last night. I really want to know what people are gonna think about it and everything like that. I was really wondering what is everyone gonna think about this movie? What is everyone gonna think? Are they gonna like it? Are they gonna hate it? And a lot of it was back and forth in my head. What do I feel about this movie? And it's I didn't even think about Halloween Kills that much when I saw it. I was really, a lot happens in this movie that really made me think what do I think about this movie? And personally, I have mixed feelings. I think a lot of what I've been seeing from reviews, I watched a bunch of reviews beforehand. A lot of people are it's pretty mixed from some of the reviews. There are people that actually really like the movie, and there's people that straight up think it's bad. Personally, I'll go ahead and straight up say I don't think this movie is bad. I don't think it is bad. I think a lot of people are going into this, and also the marketing 100% isn't... But a lot of people are blaming the marketing for this movie, the way some of the stuff is. I wouldn't really blame the marketing that much because of the fact, I was oh, the movie really wasn't... But, everyone that was, I guess the casuals really wouldn't have known, but, a lot of people knew, that there was going to be a big difference in this movie compared to the last 2. Because even, Jamie Lee Curtis even said, this movie's going to make some fans mad. And after seeing the movie, I completely understand why she said that. This movie definitely is going to make some people mad. But after watching a bunch of reviews, and a lot of people are split on it. A lot of people really like the direction the movie goes. And a lot of people are actually dragging this movie through the mud, saying it's really bad. And they're putting it up there with like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 and stuff like that. And I'm like, what? But no, this is far from the worst Halloween movie. Like, for Pete's sake, this is definitely not that as bad as I'm seeing some of these reviews say. Because this movie is not horrible, because only I gotta say about this movie, they have the guts to try something new with this franchise. After the time when they've tried with this series has gone through so much experimentation with trying to do new things, trying to do an anthology series, freaking the Cult of Thorns stuff, and resetting the timelines, the freaking Rob Zombie remakes, and freaking everything. This franchise, do you know the franchise you're watching? Have you seen the other movies? So I really got to say, I got to applaud the filmmakers for this, for trying something new, because the fact that this stuff can get formulaic and everything. People want to see something new. I know some people also say, oh, I just want to see Michael slashing people and everything. I'm like, yeah, I get that, but like a franchise that actually is important to me, because I do think this is in my top 3 favorite horror franchises. I want to see something new. And going into that, I was hoping for something like that. And when we started getting some of the stuff that we got in this movie, I was iffy. Like, for the first, 15 minutes, I'm, really, into what's going on. I'm, really curious, whoa, okay, where's that going with this? How's this gonna go? And then it keeps going. And I'm like, okay, I'm not a big fan of where you're going with this. And then as it keeps going, though, I start feeling it more. And I'm like, okay. I'm liking what you're doing there. Oh, didn't like what you did right there. But and then when the movie gets going into I think it's probably the last 20-ish minutes are probably the best part of this movie, because this is I think this is a fun time at the movies. I saw this with a packed theater pretty much, and I heard there's some people clapping over reactions and everything. People were enjoying, and this in my screening, people were enjoying this. And for the most part, I was enjoying it too. I have some issues with this movie, though. I seriously do have some issues. But let's talk about some stuff before I get into story details and all that. First things first, the kills here, it's definitely not as over the top and as much as there was in the last movie, which I wasn't wanting that. Because, last movie was the carnage and everything. You wanted a big, carnage-filled, brutal Michael Myers. This, you get kills that are very much still really nice kills a lot of times. There's some really nice effects in some of these. I'm pretty sure most of it's practical, and it looks nice. And I really do like a lot of the kills here. Another thing that is done really well is Laurie in this movie. I feel like Laurie is at her best. She's been in this entire trilogy, because one, we're not seeing her in her scared. We get to see Laurie being a person. We actually see some character development there. We're like, hey, she's getting better. She's getting over everything that happened back in 1978 and in 2018, which is amazing. Another thing, rumors were going around about this movie before it came out. I wanted to point this out in this review, that this movie, for some reason, was going to acknowledge the pandemic. And I was like, why would you do that? And it didn't. Thank goodness. I'm so glad it didn't. I was like, why would you do that? And the way this movie goes about handling it being the finale to this, I hope it's the finale to the franchise. I do not want another movie, because I do feel like this movie encapsulates the franchise off well. I do not want another movie in this franchise. And that's not trying to be mean or anything, because I just think it lives off on a good point. Laurie and Michael, I feel like their story is a good conclusion here. Allison is in this as well again. I feel like she's got her stuff to do, but I feel like Allison is maybe like not as prominent this time around. Like, she's important to the plot, don't get me wrong. She's important and she's got a lot going on in this movie, but I feel like, I don't know, Laurie is definitely probably the best part of the movie, probably, I'd say. And then you get this new character, which is weird them bringing in a new character in the final entry, but I honestly don't hate this character. I like it's interesting. So those of you that don't know, this is in, actually, let me actually pull up the trailer actually and read the synopsis off, because it was in the first trailer synopsis. So I'm gonna read that instead of trying to do it myself so I don't get into spoilerish stuff. So let me look at this real quick. It was in the it was in the description of the trailer. Let me see. Here it is. 4 years after the events of Halloween Kills, Laurie is living with her granddaughter Allison and is finishing her memoir. Michael Myers hasn't been seen since. Laurie, after allowing the specter of Michael Myers to determine her and drive her reality for decades, has decided to liberate herself from the rage and embrace life. But when a young man, Corey Cunningham, is accused of killing a boy he was babysitting, it ignites a cascade of violence and terror that will force Laurie to finally confront the evil she can't control once and for all. I thought that's a better synopsis than what I read off on Rotten Tomatoes. But the movie that I do like about this movie, we'll talk about more about Corey. He's an interesting character. They handle him well at points, and then like as soon as like you get him up to a certain point, like at first I'm not for some of it. It's like then it gets going. I'm like, okay, interesting. I like where you're going here, and then we get to another point in the movie where it's like, okay, you kind of just made this feel a little all over the place now. It's a little scrambled, I'd say, the way the movie makes me feel with his character. And then another thing I gotta say is Michael. And Michael, I feel, gets played a little dirty in this movie. Like, just because of just how it's handled. And I know what they were going for, but I feel like some stuff, it's not the fact that like there's less time for Michael in this movie, because there's less than there is in the other movies, but that's not really my problem here. It's the way when Michael is on, a couple things, and when Michael is on screen, it's like, what? But at the most part, I still feel like when Michael is on screen and you get to see Michael being Michael, it is still good. And like a lot of people are probably going to complain about certain aspects of Michael, like in this movie, that I can understand. I'll get more into that in the spoiler section of this video. But overall, I think it was still done all right. Now, one review that I saw, and I didn't see that anyone else point this out, there was one review that I saw that like said there was some spotty bad acting. No. Like, no. And I saw a complaint about the pacing felt fine to me. I didn't think the pacing felt really weird. At least to me, I think the movie was paced fine. But overall, Halloween Ends is not really, I wouldn't say it's a bad movie. There are people saying legitimately this is a straight up bad movie. No. I feel like this is like one of those ones that a lot of people are going to be like, you're going to be on the, you either love it or you hate it, or you think it, or it's going to, so this is going to go down as one of those movies that, like, I have a feeling it's one of those movies that not a lot of people liked when it released, but it's kind of going to become like a new cult classic or something like that, because a lot of people are going to think of it. I feel like it's going to be one of those movies. A lot of people have said this too. I think it's going to be one of those movies, and because I think a lot was done well here. So before we move on to the spoiler section, Let's go ahead and get my rating out of the way. So people that want to, I'll reset my rating again at the end. But overall, okay, so critics give this movie a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes, and an audience give it a 59%. So, but from reviews that I've actually seen, it's indecisive. It's really, but mostly negative, I guess, according to Rotten Tomatoes. But with that being said, personally, see, I don't know where to actually throw this, because I really did enjoy this movie. I actually kind of liked it a little more than Kills. Actually, I think I do like some of the places this movie goes. So the thing is that I have to say, I want to give it a 4, but I'm not gonna give it a 4. I think a 3.5 is a good, solid ground to put this movie at. Which a lot of people see that as a bad rating. I think that's an all right rating. I think it's not. I don't see that as a bad movie. This movie isn't bad. I didn't even go as far as to say I liked it. I think a lot of people are gonna like this. A lot of people are gonna hate this movie. A lot of people are gonna like, but me personally, I enjoy this movie, and I think a lot more people are gonna really enjoy this movie. And I can also think a lot of people are going to hate it. It does not surprise me that people do not like this movie. But let's get into spoiler talk. So, spoilers. Saying that now, I don't know what I have to reiterate. From this moment on in the video, I will be spoiling Halloween Ends. So if you have not seen it, click off the video now. Come back after you've seen it, because we are going into spoiler territory here. Corey Cunningham's character basically is somehow gets like the evil like inspiration kind of from Michael, and he starts killing people and everything. And at one point in the movie, this is the part that bothered me. This is the part that really bothered me. Literally, he goes back into the sewer where Michael is, and he takes his mask, fights him, and takes his mask, and it kind of ruins a little bit of how brutal Michael was in the last movie. But also the thing is, a lot of people's and when Michael first shows up in this movie, he's weak, you can tell, and everyone's but I remember someone actually asked me, who's with that? I'm keep in mind what this man has gone through. This man has survived. If you look at the first movie, he's been stabbed, he's been shot multiple times, and then Halloween Ends, Halloween 2018, once again, he gets beat, and shot, stabbed, his fingers cut off, and then freaking Halloween Kills, he gets beaten by a mob, he gets shot, he gets stabbed. So much happens to this guy. He gets, I didn't even mention him getting burned up in Halloween 2018. So, and then also hiding out in the sewer for 4 years. That's gonna weaken somebody. I don't care if you're Michael Myers. You're gonna get weakened. And he was weakened. But my main problem with Michael, though, is that one scene where Corey Cunningham fights him and takes his mask. Because if you watch the trailers, you knew some shots wasn't Michael because of how baggy the suit was, and seeing that he had all his fingers. A lot of people, I guess, wouldn't have looked for that, but freaking the movie does these things, and it makes you wonder why they did these things and why freaking Michael is doing what he's why Michael is freaking my theory is, here's my theory on why I think Michael actually let that happen. It's because Michael felt something in Corey that he felt in himself. The pure evil that came from Michael, he felt it in Corey. I think that's what it is, and I think a lot of people are gonna overlook that. I think, but also I guess from a casual standpoint, people are gonna be like, "Wow, he just got kind of pushed over," basically. Personally, for me, I think Michael. That's the reason why. So that actually makes a little sense because you can tell there's like that mutual respect with Michael and Corey for some of the movie until later, where Michael, like after he goes to get his mask back, he's like, okay, okay. So let me get into a little bit talking about like Corey and Lori. So like Corey, at the start of the movie, he's like babysitting this kid, right? And he accidentally winds up slamming a door open and knocking this kid off a balcony and killing him. And now this whole he gets off and everything, and then this whole town, like he gets off like I don't know if like parole or I don't know. It doesn't go into detail, but it was an accident. He accidentally killed the kid and he got off. I guess because it was an accident or whatever. I don't know. But a lot of people don't like him and everything. And then he meets Lori, who winds up introducing him to Allison. And him and Allison start building this relationship, which I felt like could have been fine. And then somewhere in here, you would think, like, hey, Michael's going to show up. But no. Michael doesn't necessarily want to come back. He just wants to live out. I feel like he just wants to live out and just die. It's like he just wants to like live out till he dies and just like stay away from people. That's kind of what it seems like Michael is doing. Because from what we learned from this timeline, Michael was only like kind of killing people that were kind of just in his way. Like, but with that being said, then Corey starts trying to convince Allison that, like, oh, your grandma is crazy and everything, and she's trying to kill me. And then at one point where she attacks Michael, attacks Lori, dressed as Michael, and then she's like, it's like, oh, if I can't have Allison, nobody can, blah, 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 blah. If she can't have me, or so. It's just a bunch of, and so she thinks that Lori did it. He stabs himself in the dang neck. And Allison comes in and at first thinks, oh my goodness, my grandma killed my boyfriend. And then later, like literally shortly after this, Michael comes back, and it makes a reason why he would actually wind up back at Lori. Because we obviously learned that he wasn't going after Lori. Just Sartain was taking him to Lori. And sorry, my brain's farting. Sartain was taking him to Lori. And sorry, my brain's just farting all over the place. And so what brings him back to Lori's house isn't that he's going there for Lori. He's there to get his mask. That man wants his mask. And also, a lot of the kills in this movie are not Lori. I mean, are not Michael. They are Corey. Michael gets a couple kills, and most of the others are Corey, which is gonna bother a lot of people. That actually is one of the things that bothers me about this movie. And I really should have brought this up in the spoilers and the non-spoiler section. But the final act, the Michael versus Lori, is so good. Seeing them fight and like Lori kind of taking lead on this thing, because like how they handle this going out. Like, I'm actually gonna straight up say this. Lori straight up stabs Michael in one hand, stabs him in another, knocks a freaking fridge onto him, and freaking slits his throat. I'm still sitting there like, that's not gonna kill him though. This is Michael. You gotta be. And Addison comes back. She's like, I know, blah blah blah, and they wind up slitting his wrist. And freaking, I'm like, okay, he's dead now, and they come back as like, and later they're like, Addison's like, we're gonna make sure of it, and I'm like, they wind up taking Michael to a junkyard and throw his body into a freaking grinder. Like, what the absolute heck? I was like, what? Evil definitely died tonight. And it's just like, and one complaint I had, I was like, oh, that ending would have fit better for Halloween Kills. Personally, I liked that they tried something new. It may have not worked out the best and may have had problems, but definitely I liked them taking a new direction with this movie, and I think a lot of people are going to want to know why this movie is so indecisive with people, because there's some people that really liked this, there's some people that really hated it, but I think it's not the best one in this Blumhouse trilogy. I still think that probably goes to 2018, but it's probably the second best one, I'd probably say. I don't remember what I don't know what I'd rank. I want to do a video ranking the entire series, maybe a tier list video. And I also want to do a top 12, even though there's 13 movies, but we'll put one as an honorable mention. We don't talk about it. But this movie, though, is just so interesting, and I think there's gonna be a lot of people. The more this movie sticks around, people are gonna be really fascinated by it, and I really think people are gonna want to watch a lot more of this movie. I'm actually gonna go see it again in theaters, probably the night of Halloween, because I do want to see this again, because I am very interested to see what the. I want to see it again, see if my mind changes at all. Yes, I'm aware I can watch it at home on Peacock, but I'm going to watch this in theaters again. Because, and, oh! One thing I forgot to mention, the opening title crawl of the thing, it's done in the style of Halloween 3. I never noticed that with the other movies, because they, the first, 2018 did it in the style of the first movie, and Halloween Kills did it in the style of Halloween 2. This one did it in the style of Halloween 3, which I thought was, because I noticed it right off the bat. As soon as I saw the text, I'm like, that's the Halloween 3 font. But I really actually enjoyed this movie. I'd love to know what you guys thought. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have seen it. What do you guys think? Do you think this movie's good? Do you think it's bad? I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I have a lot of problems with it, but I did enjoy the movie for the most part. I think it's a good conclusion to the franchise as a whole. We do not need a reboot again. Come on. I know this movie's probably going to make some money. That doesn't mean keep it going. It's good. Leave it off here. If you want to do more with the Halloween franchise, do it with the anthology idea. Bring back the third movie. I don't know. Leave Michael Myers alone after this movie. No more Michael. No more Myers. No more Michael Myers. Please. This needs to be the last movie. I don't want to see the rights get picked up by some other studio and then be like, we're going to reboot the franchise. No! This franchise has been done, rebooted, retconned, and so much already. Let's let Halloween end. Excuse the pun. This franchise is... It's done. We're done with this franchise. But that's going to be it for this review, guys. I really hope you guys did enjoy it. Sorry this one was so long, but I had a lot that I wanted to say. If you guys did enjoy, let me know in the comment section what you guys thought about this video. There's a like button down there, too. You could press that and so much other stuff. Redux Creed Fright still has a good bit to go. We're at the halfway point of October, so we still got plenty of content coming for the rest of October. And Creepy Fridays is going great. I hope you guys are super excited to. Here's the thing. This is my big movie for the year. I think probably my biggest one of the year. I still have the movies I want to see, but like this was my hyped film. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.